Just a little background. Personally, I love to train grappling for the sake of grappling. I mean, I probably, when I started, there's no such thing as like IBJJF rules and all that stuff. We didn't really have competition, so we just wrestled to wrestle. Like, we just grappled in any situation. And I really like, both for myself and also when I'm teaching, to give people like a broad spectrum of skills in grappling. So it's not just, I know some people will just dive into only point ski stuff or only self-defense or only MMA stuff, but I think at least for my own sake as an instructor, I like to make sure that people can still grapple even if they take the jacket off, right? Or if there's a wall or something. I always found it a little bit weird that people can roll for practice grappling for 10, 15 years, but if you take off the jacket or put on a jacket, you change your clothes slightly, then they're like, oh, no, I can't do it, nothing works anymore. You know? Or if they roll nearby a wall, it's like, stop, there's a wall. We can't possibly wrestle near a wall, it's impossible. You have to move away from the wall. You know? Or even there are other people, or I don't know, a chair or something. Not that I practice wrestling between chairs, or I might do. But I kind of like that to have that broad range of skill. Right? So it's gi, no gi, with or without strikes, all kinds of situations, with walls, with people near you, with plenty of space, and I try to do that when I teach as well. And I always liked wrestling, like stand-up, judo, wrestling, grappling, all this stuff. I really enjoyed it. And also I did MMA for maybe 10 years. The thing in Denmark, we don't have wrestling. We have very few old men who do Greco-Roman wrestling, very old men. And freestyle wrestling is where you grab the legs, is only for women. I don't know where that comes from, but if you ask them, they're like, I remember asked them, do you ever do like freestyle or anything? Like, no, only girls grab legs. No, men don't do that. And it's like, okay, so that's what I have to work with at home. That's literally all the knowledge in the country of stand-up wrestling. Right? We have strong judo and stuff, but without a gi, kimono, nobody knows anything. Right? So I am completely self-taught, and I've traveled a lot and tried to always like get some knowledge. I learned a lot from Eric, who's been teaching at the camps for many, many years. And every time I go to the camp and I meet someone who actually did actual wrestling, which is mostly outside of Europe, I try to like just kind of pick their brain about it as much as I can. Which is of course limited. So much of my stuff is kind of trial and error. I like just kind of try to figure it out on my own. And I also learn a lot from Instagram. There's a lot of like Russian granddads in always gray sweatpants and a loose T-shirt, and they just have like sick technique. They throw around little kids, and I learned a lot from that actually. Gray sweatpants, then I'm like, bookmark right away. And they're always like 70 years old. They like have a stopwatch and like just wild technique, and I love that shit. So I just really like that aspect of it, of nerding with diving into strange niches in grappling. So that's my thing, and of course it's kind of weird to come here and teach wrestling to Americans as a complete non-wrestling European. But I don't know. I kind of figured out how to do this class when I'm teaching, and it's probably the most popular class in my camp, where most people show up and everybody love it, and that's not normal for stand-up classes. I think it's really difficult to have a stand-up class for adult non-wrestlers. So that's what I'm going to try to share. There are a few things that I always found kind of weird. There's always a few things I find weird in Jiu-Jitsu, which are relevant to this class. And one thing is, whenever you walk into a Jiu-Jitsu gym, which I've done many hundreds of times probably, every time you walk in and you look around the mat, it's kind of strange that everybody's always laying down. Right? It's literally nobody's standing up. It's a little bit weird, right? I mean, it should be, if we're training grappling for the sake of grappling, it should be at least 50-50, right? But we're just constantly laying down. It's a little bit weird if you just take a step back and see that and look at that from the outside. And even more so, obviously if you train by like IBJJF style rule set, it makes a lot of sense to put less emphasis on the stand-up part, because your opponent can just sit down and then you wasted your time on that. But for literally any other aspect of grappling, for strikes, no strikes, self-defense, anything, then having stand-up wrestling skills is very valuable. I believe it is stand-up grappling is a life skill up there with making fire and catching animals and stuff. It's just, you just need to have that in your life as a human, I think. So that's kind of weird, and also it's a little bit like training boxing, kickboxing in a world where everybody's crawling, and you have no idea how to stand them up. Right? It's the same thing. We all just grapple and grapple and grapple on the floor, but nobody actually are really proficient in putting people there. You know? So that's a little bit weird for me, and I always found that to be strange. So I like to, at least for my own students, I like them to be as comfortable standing or on the ground. And I want that to be 50-50. That's my goal for them. And often when we roll, you will see when we have sparring that it goes from standing to laying down constantly, switching up and down. And it's completely natural for them to, oh, now we're standing up and then we keep going on the ground and then there's a scramble and we back up. It's like this, yeah? Where usually it's like this for most jiu-jitsu clubs. So I found that weird. And the other thing that I find a little bit weird is how the stand-up part is being taught in jiu-jitsu. Because what do we do on the ground when we teach jiu-jitsu? We put a lot of emphasis on it's always precision before submission, right? That is jiu-jitsu, right? This is the important thing, the big thing, why this is not like a stupid traditional martial arts thing, is that we have so much focus on position, right? Obtaining position, holding it, transitioning, and escaping, that's like the foundation of it. The submission is the last 2% of it, right? And we all know that on the ground, yeah? That makes sense. So if you want to teach someone a rear naked choke, you can't just teach them the choke. Right? You have to teach them to take down, pass, take the back, hold the back, and then the submission is easy from there, if you can get to there. Right? For whatever reason, I would say in 9 out of 10 at least jiu-jitsu clubs I've trained in or know of, that's what they do on the ground, but standing up, for whatever reason, it's completely opposite. It is literally only submission standing up, and by submissions I mean takedowns. Right? So you usually do a lot of positional stuff, and then 2 weeks before the competition, you're like, okay, let's just drill some double legs. And then you go to the competition and he's like, go for the double leg, and you have no idea what to do. It's literally no different than just drilling a rear naked choke and expecting you can take the back, hold the back, and get the submission, right? So it's upside down when we stand up, in a sense. So it's just in reverse. That on the ground, we have a lot of focus on position, but standing up, we literally just train finishes, right? Just like training submissions only. And I think that is really strange. Why is there not the same focus on position standing up, like obtaining position, transitioning, and escaping position? Why is there not the same focus? Right? So that's how I try to teach stand-up, is just with a 99% focus on positioning. And then if I can do that, then the takedown ends up being super, super easy. Right? Which is just what we do on the ground anyway. Right? It's all the time is how to pass, how to transition, how to take the back. And if you can take the back easily, then I can show you how to finish the choke. Right? So that's like what I try to do standing up. And this class, I don't really teach any technique at all, both at home and here. It's just like sport. Like you would teach sport, it's drills with like technical corrections here. It's not like if you show up for a tennis class 1 hour that I will show you 7 different ways to hit the ball. No, you start hitting the ball, and then we take a little break and correct something, and then you hit the ball again more and more and more. So that's how I think jiu-jitsu should be trained, like a sport. I'll try to do in this class kind of like a miniature version of how I teach it at home. Like it's a long kind of it's many classes over months and months, but I will try to condense that into 1 hour. Right? So within 1 hour, I should have all of you wrestling high intensity, completely safe, and nobody should get injured. Right? No, I never had anyone injured in this class ever. So what are the problems with why is it difficult for academies to have wrestling or stand-up classes for adults? Like, what is the problem? Yeah, it obviously doesn't work. right? It doesn't work very well because most gyms don't have it. And usually if you have it, maybe some people still show up in the beginning, but attendance rate always kind of drops really quick. And if someone is really in on it, it's usually young, strong, athletic people, and which is not the usual age and kind of life situation for most people who train jiu-jitsu is not 18, 19-year-old athletes who have nothing else to do but just wrestle all day. So the problems that we run into is that it's not fun, right? It's very difficult to make it fun because it's really, really hard because we're not kids. You know, it's really easy to teach takedowns to kids because they can't really complain in a sense, and they also don't get tired. But for us, who are not 19 years old, it is really hard, a hard class, right? And it's also not like super fun, and there is a huge problem with people not having confidence in it. They're afraid to stand up. They're afraid to fall and twist with someone else's weight involved, right? That's a very hard sell if you have an academy and you try to do like a stand-up class with takedowns. Right? So already there, you're like, it's really difficult to start a team like that for people to train in this class. Right? So I've come up with a solution, I believe, and I have the data to back it up, is that I've been doing this for 15 years, and it is hands down my most favorite class of all my students. Everybody loves it, and on Saturdays, people don't even want to roll no-gi on the ground, everybody just wants to wrestle. And these are adults, average age, around 45, who will go super hard on this every class. So I believe it's possible, and I'm going to try to condense that class into 45 minutes with you, and then see if we can make it work. Right. So the solution is that we have to create a class that's fun to attract people, and also safe. Yeah? Because even if it's kind of okay, but if someone blows out their knee, then that disencourages other people from showing up. Yeah? And the thing with jiu-jitsu, I think why it's very popular for adults, is that you can be very lazy but still train hard. Right? Jiu-jitsu allows you to be lazy because you can always just play guard and like hold on to something. But standing up, you cannot do that. There is no breaks if you show up for a wrestling class, and we know that. And that's why if you sit at home after work, you're a little bit tired, like should I go or not? There's a good chance you're going to stay home if you know it's going to be 1 hour where you cannot just hang out in guard. Right? That's why jiu-jitsu is nice, because you can show up tired, and then that day you can just kind of be in half guard, like 45 minutes. You know, just hold on and squeeze, and I don't really have to do much. You know you cannot not do that in a stand-up. So I have to try and create that environment. And there's like a drill progression that I do, which are kind of like 4 drills that I take people through. And then at the end of that, they will be very confident standing up, confident with the energy of being pushed and pulled and another body and moving around a lot. And it's really simple stuff. There's really not much to it. I just need a whistle and a stopwatch to run the class, and some hardcore music to set the vibe. So let's try to do the drills and the little progression, and then I'll get you going. I'm going to use the mat because he's my. Okay. So the first drill I'll have people do is just kind of imagine slow rolling on the ground. How would we warm up on the ground rolling? Just do like positional stuff, very light. Yeah. The problem standing up is often when people are a little bit nervous, and it's often like this, you know, one thing I just work, and then you go out again. Yeah? It's very tense. Yeah? So we just want to take that element out of it, and then I'm just going to let him hold the position, and I'm going to be kind of like a heavy bag. Yeah, not like a sack of potatoes, but I'm just going to be like a grappling dummy, and he's going to grab positions. He's going to switch positions as you want, and just kind of move around. I just give him a little bit of weight. That's it. You can pick up a leg if you want. You can pick me up, anything he likes. And I'm not really going to resist. I'm just going to move around. And this gives him the opportunity to practice the transitions, with no risk of me suddenly like slamming him or something going wrong. All right. Pretty simple, yeah? So that's a really nice warm-up drill. Just to kind of get started with the feeling of moving a body around, right? So I always start with that, 5-10 minutes. So try to grab a partner, just move around like that, go like 1 minute, then you switch the other person, go. There's no resistance, just like be a heavy bag. Okay, let's try that first. Go. Yeah, I like it. It doesn't almost not exist in jiu-jitsu, what do you say, classes, in teaching jiu-jitsu. It's always just, okay, let's try a single leg today, or a hip throw, right? But that doesn't make sense on the ground. There on the ground, we practice passing, getting to mount, taking the back, escaping, all the time. Standing up, we don't do it, right? So we implement that even in the warm-up here. Yeah? Okay. So next drill, the next progression of the drill is kind of the same, but he just picks one position that he likes, or a position of the day, or whatever. And from here, we just say 1, 2, 3, go, and I'm gonna kind of resist a little bit, and he's just gonna try to hold it. This is the equivalent of start and mount, 1, 2, 3, go, try to escape, try to hold mount. We'll do that all the time on the ground. Okay, go. And he's not really gonna go anywhere, just try to hold. And he's probably gonna hold this all day long on me. Yeah, it's like I'm going nowhere. Okay, nice. And if you imagine, just imagine that I could actually get out. If I get out, yeah, then we just reset. Go again. Yeah, that's really nice. Okay. If I actually get out, all right, just go again. Okay. So that's a nice little safe progression of the positional drill. Okay. So pick any position you like. Sometimes I let people pick one. Sometimes they grab a new every round. Sometimes it's the position of the day. It could also be holding a single leg, just, or even just the back or the front or snap down or whatever you want. Okay? Let's try this a little bit. Go. But that's really easy, and for me as a coach, that's super easy. I could do just these 2 drills, and that could be an entire class. And here I would just do a little evaluation and say, okay, I watched you do this, and maybe let's talk about keeping a straight back. Yeah, and we'll spend like a few minutes just talking about straight posture, and then we just do these drills again. It's literally no different than how we train positions on the ground. Yeah? So the next progression of the drill would be the same thing. You would pick a position, let's say a double unders from the side or something like this. You pick a position like that, and we say 1, 2, 3, go, and I resist, try to get out, and he's going to hold it as long as he can. And at some point, when he loses the position, which is like he has to know the exact moment where it's too late, where he's out, then he has to switch to a plan B that I give him. Right? It's no different than we practice guard passing. You defend the guard, and there's an exact moment where you realize I don't have the guard anymore. This is where I have to go for a defensive posture or whatever. So the mission of today could be pick up a single. Right? So he starts here, like that. I resist just like before, and at some point, when he's about to lose the position and he realizes, oh, now my guard is getting past, it's too late, his mission is just to pick up my leg, right? Okay, so let's try. So he's going to hold it as long as he can, yeah? Like that. And just imagine I'm really strong and I can actually get out. That's it, he picks up the single. Yeah, and then he holds this for a few seconds. That's it. Maybe a little faster than I wanted it to be, but I'm also obviously pretty good at escaping, so let's go. Yes. Yeah? And what is this? This is practicing the transition between positions. Right? It's literally practice the guard pass, and then your plan is to get the side control position. Yeah? Okay, so let's try this really easy drill. Take any position you like, and I will say your mission is to pick up the single leg once you lose the position. Okay? Let's go. So fast. 1, 2, 3.
Do you know what will be next? I wonder. What do I do? I wonder. Get up, get up, get up. Let's go, Blue, get up, come on. Let's go, yeah, get up, Blue. Woo! Good job. Okay, how did that feel? Pretty good? Everybody feels safe still? Yeah? You feel the progression, and we create the atmosphere where it's really fun. Remember, why is wrestling classes difficult? They are too hard, and they're not fun, and they're not safe. Yeah, so those are the things that we try to fix with this, right? So, since this is a practice round, remember you're also practicing when you're out. I feel like the cheering was going down. You lost the enthusiasm pretty quickly. It's going to pick up once the intensity picks up too, right? But you really have to do it. I don't want people standing out and just kind of waiting or talking to each other and stuff. You have to be engaged, right, in what's going on the mat, okay? Right, so we're going to pick it up a little bit, and I'm going to do that through the music. So now we go with resistance, so to say. But if the music is slow and relaxing, you can relax more, right? And once I see that you're more confident, I'm going to change the music to a higher intensity. Yeah? Yes? There is no predetermined winner now. Now we go. Now you fight to the death. But I'm going to try to adjust the intensity of the atmosphere through the music, right? That's usually what I can do. And I might stop it and then give you a quick feedback and then go back to the drill. Okay? Can you all feel now the little bit of the excitement and a little bit of adrenaline when people are watching and screaming at you? Yeah? This is a really valuable thing to simulate in training, which is very difficult to get in just an open mat, right? So we have to get people into that different gear. We all know you train jiu-jitsu at home, blah, blah, blah. Then you go to a competition, it's like a fucking train hitting you of intensity and you're scared and adrenaline and all this stuff, right? We have to get closer to that in training in a safe way, okay? So let's get the first ones in, and then we go, and the referees are going to control the match. Super hardcore, obviously. Let's try. Go. Let's go. Okay, so how does that feel? We're not all done yet, guys. Not all done. So listen up. How did that feel? Good? Fun? Dangerous? Safe? Okay, so yes? That's up to you. What do you identify as? So, okay, so you see we have something here to work with. Yeah? We literally did this for 4 minutes. Yeah, no more than that. Imagine if we keep polishing this, practicing, getting more confident with each other, and we built this over years. Yeah? What can this turn into? If I can take a group of 40, 50-year-olds and get them confident with this, I can really teach them like proper stand-up stuff. Right? You practice to be a little bit nervous. It's a completely different energy than when you're rolling on the ground, right? You spend way too much energy, and it looks a little bit like shit what you're doing. But surprise, surprise, that was exactly how it looked when you started rolling on the ground. There's no difference, right? You say, wrestling is hard because I have to flex all the time. But that's literally what you did the first 6 months when you started on the ground. Yeah? It's no different. Once you do this more and more, you learn to relax more and more. And eventually, as I say with my guys, we go 1 hour, and it's fine. Right? Of course, it's a good workout. It's maybe the best fitness I know and the most fun. But it's not like we're all completely burned out after 10 minutes because you learn to be more efficient with your energy. Yeah? Okay, so we're going to just take the dive and turn up the energy, do the exact same thing with a little bit different music, and then we just see how it goes. Yeah? All right. So when you hear the music, I just got to pick the right one. Okay, let's try this one. Go, go, go!
Asking